Devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand.
All right, let's try that again. What up, guys? K Creative here with Bamboo Solutions. Going to do our SharePoint weekly newsletter roundup. It is Friday. Hallelujah. We've made it. We've done it. As if we're not going to work on the weekend? Yeah, right. So anyways, got a lot going on. But we're going to go through the newsletter today, as usual, on Fridays at noon. Next month, we'll be back in action. This coming week, we're actually going to do a Panda Talk instead of a webinar, which is going to be pretty much me talking some SharePoint news of some sort. Let me switch that. And really kind of having a... It's not necessarily a TED Talk, right? Because TED Talks are kind of like philosophical or... I guess good research and strategy and, you know, all the good stuff around a TED Talk, right? But it's not necessarily that. It really is a Panda Talk. So it's going to be more of an industry topic that I'll just kind of go through and talk about. Anyways, that's what we're going to do this next week instead of a webinar. So that invite will go out shortly. But today we're going to go through the newsletter that we send out every Friday. Here's a quick link if you're interested in registering for the newsletter. That'll get you connected. You'll get that newsletter in your mailbox Fridays around 8 a.m. And then Fridays around noon, we go through it together live if you're interested. A little commentary, a little chat, a little back and forth, whatever. So that's what we're doing today. Let's get to it. All right, so what we got this week. So this is the look at the newsletter. If you haven't seen it before, this is it. It's a MailChimp newsletter, so you do have that capability to unsubscribe, all those things that you're, those rights that you're given according to law. I think it's law, right? That you have to be able to manage those. So we're not going to hold your account hostage or anything like that, but it is a good resource for keeping you up to date with what's going on in the industry, especially in the SharePoint space. So if you're one of those that's trying to stay on top of everything that's going on, this is a great way to do that. This is the last 7 days rolled up into a newsletter, like I said, every Friday. So get some. There is a way to access your past issues. So if you were to Want to go and look at some of the previous week's newsletters, you can do that here in the MailChimp if you view it through the browser, so you have access to all those different newsletters that went out previously. Let's do it. 30 minutes, usually kind of rough, so here we are at 25 minutes till. Hey, Mr. Rick, what's up? More of a Texas look, yeah. Definitely got the beard going now. Been growing this thing out since February. And here we go. Yeah. So here's what we're looking at. So if you haven't listened in before with us, the newsletter usually covers 3 topics: the top news stories. These are the stories that really come from the vendor themselves, Microsoft, as well as some of the bigger partners and the press and news releases. Whereas around the blogosphere is more around those blogs that are out there, maybe MVP blogs, just enthusiasts, etc. And then we go through some of the events that are upcoming in the SharePoint space so that you can kind of get plugged in if they're so happening in your area. All right, let's do it. Let's jump in. Top news stories: why you should consider SharePoint for project management. Let's check this out. Thanks for jumping on, Rick. Hope everything's all right in Texas. Is not too hot for you down there. I know it's freaking smoking hot here in Maryland. All right, so why you should consider SharePoint for project management. Let's see. SharePoint has all the basics for collaborative project management. Okay. Has a place to store docs, the option to add various lists and libraries and apps, the ability to configure and brand the site, SharePoint permissions, allowing users to control who gets access to what, the architecture of SharePoint for project management. So he's talking about think of breaking down the SharePoint platform for project management into 4 parts. So you got lists, web parts, SharePoint sites, and site collections. And then he goes into detail on how you might leverage SharePoint lists for project management. Talking about using task lists, really kind of getting some of that Microsoft project functionality around indentation and child tasks of maybe milestones or other parent tasks, etc. You could make other lists that include like project issues, risks, project statements, etc. And then you got web parts. So you could do some web parts on a page that would kind of call out various parts of a project, top open issues potentially, charts for reporting tasks by status, KPIs, overdue work. Really is kind of the bread and butter of SharePoint, right? Being able to do these things, mix and match all that functionality into a page, create a dashboard, etc. And end users can do this, doesn't take developers. SharePoint sites, so you can sort of separate projects by site or site collections. Obviously, we've got a whole bunch of strategy and experience to propose best ways to do this kind of thing. Site collections, bonus, sync your SharePoint site with Microsoft Project. You can do that too. Yep. So anyways, good post there. Kind of talking about how you could use SharePoint and leverage it to create a project management solution. If you're an Office 365 subscriber or your organization, your workplace is on Office 365, then boom, you got licensing to do so. We do have a product at Bamboo. Obviously, we're a product and services company in the Microsoft SharePoint space, so we do have a product called Project Management Central, which pretty much templatizes and prescribes a set of those features in SharePoint to do that. Anyways, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella's 6 key statements at Inspire 2019. Inspire was last week? I guess so, if we're talking about it this week. I forget. Do I see a date on here? I don't. So anyways, Nadella used his keynote at the Inspire Partner Conference to highlight major wins and partner opportunities in Azure Dynamics 365 and mixed reality in Microsoft 365. They're keeping the innovation engine roaring. Boom. Yeah, that's for sure. Microsoft is definitely on a roll. So what follows are the 6 biggest statements from Nadella's keynote at Microsoft Inspire 2019. Azure, what did they say? 90% of the data that we have today was created today. 90% of the data that we have today was created today, was created in the last 2 years. Whatever. Bad quote. That's the explosion of compute and data. We have 1 billion users of Windows, a couple billion smartphones, but 50 billion endpoints are all connected to the cloud. That's what's leading to us building out Azure as the world's computer. I know that during Microsoft Build 2019, that was a big thing. That Nadella was saying we were building the world's computer. And that's what Azure is. It will be the processing, the computing, the the storage of everything for the world, right? That's sort of the slogan that he's using specifically. They have 54 data centers regions. Excuse me. Very, very thrilled to have the latest regions in the Middle East and Africa. Oof, gotta get that stuff out of my throat. Let's see. We're also building everything that we're doing across Azure with openness. Windows and Linux are first class. Java and .NET are first class. SQL Server, Postgres are first class. Red Hat, VMware, Oracle. This is all stuff coming out of Inspire 2019 for Azure. What else? The top points here are the intelligent edge. So they're taking the cloud to the edge, which, let's see, do they got a good definition here? When we talk about edge over the last couple of years, the last year, it's become real. Airbus has Azure Stack powering many of their critical operations, and Azure Stack is the only consistent stack at the edge of any public cloud with full operational sovereignty. Starbucks has an Azure Sphere, which is a microcontroller that's connected to Azure. Think of it as the smallest compute node of Azure in every espresso machine. The 9 billion microcontrollers that are shipped each year, just imagine all those getting connected, becoming first-class compute nodes in the Azure fabric. The Power Platform, 500 million apps are going to get created in the next 5 years, according to current statistics and projections. Think about that. It's more apps than the last 40 years. That's nuts, right? Think about that. The last 40 years, pretty much the time in which we've had computers, we're going to, in the next 5 years, generate more apps than have been created so far. Makes sense, right? So we need citizen developers, and that's what Power Platform is for. If you guys aren't familiar with that, it's Microsoft's offering. The Power Platform is Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Flow, and what's the other one? There's 3. Flow and Power Apps, yep. So it's Power BI, Flow, and Power Apps. Power BI is the dashboarding data modeling tool to generate all kinds of advanced dashboards and things like that around your data, which can connect to many data sources, pull that stuff in and do crazy stuff with it. Then you got Flow, which is our automation tool. So that's your connector between all the things out there in the world. So I can say that it's pretty much IFTTT, if this then that. So if this happens over here, do this thing over here, and this is that tool that can connect all those things and interact with them. And then Power Apps is the citizen developer framework. It's pretty much where you can go build apps against data sources that you've got, and an end user practically can do that, or at least an interested citizen, right? Citizen developer. Anyways, so that's the Power Platform, the Dynamics 365. You have these modular modern modules for all of the functions, whether it's sales, finance, operations, or support. And then he says it's great to see that these are getting deployed at scale. One of the other things that's happened in the last year is AI across all these functions. In fact, there's a complete new set of modules that are the Insight modules. You can predict your sales pipeline and drive sales efficiency. You can improve your customer service because of Insights. You can improve your customer 360 view. Anyways, a bunch of updates there, a lot of AI-driven stuff in the Dynamics area. And then another topic at Inspire 2019 was mixed reality. There's a new commercial opportunity, he says, that's getting unlocked. It's the Mixed Reality Cloud. It's the bridging of business process in any application across the boundaries of what's virtual and what's physical. HoloLens 2 is an absolute breakthrough. It's got twice the field of view, twice the comfort. We've also now built applications right into Dynamics 365. Layout, guides, remote assistance, product visualizer. Those are all out-of-the-box applications that take advantage of this new medium of mixed reality. That's pretty neat. I still haven't seen that visually. Have you? I haven't seen HoloLens and that sort of realistic implementation of it in the workplace yet. That mixed reality implementation. So anyways, the last one for Inspire 2019 topics that Satya Nadella highlighted was Microsoft 365. So he says there's 2 billion first-line workers, and 77% of those 2 billion workers feel they don't have the tools to empower them. So this is sort of the target, if you will, of Microsoft 365. It says we've always focused our tools with the knowledge worker, but the real opportunity for us to bring knowledge workers and first-line workers together to empower companies and people. In the last year, we've had tremendous momentum. 95% of the Fortune 500 are using Microsoft 365. And all of that is fueling more and more rapid innovation. What else? The AI that's getting infused into all of the Office applications video has become the first class has become first class with Stream, which is the streaming platform from Microsoft. Security and compliance are huge value propositions for Microsoft 365. That's what's fueling all this growth and adoption. What else? The one product that has had an absolute breakout this year is Teams. Teams is the hub for teamwork. It's really for things, four things in one. It's chat, it has meetings, it brings together collaboration using all the richness of Office tools within that same scaffolding. It's the business process workflow. It defies even the category definitions that are out there in the marketplace. That's pretty neat. I agree. Teams is freaking amazing. AT&T commits to moving its employees to Microsoft 365. There you go. Talking about all that adoption of Microsoft 365. Here you go. Here's a big one. On July 16th, AT&T and IBM announced they were also expanding their partnership with a multi-year deal via which AT&T's business applications will go to the IBM cloud. IBM will also be helping manage AT&T's hybrid cloud infrastructure, and AT&T Business is making IBM the primary provider of software-defined networking for the company. So they made Microsoft its preferred, non-exclusive cloud provider for its non-network applications. AT&T said it plans to migrate most of its non-network workloads to the cloud by 2024. What is a non-network application? A person familiar with the matter is telling some news outlets that the latest Microsoft and AT&T deal is worth more than $2 billion. That's a big deal. Microsoft and AT&T announced in February this year, AT&T has said it plans to bring its network edge compute capabilities into the AT&T 5G network with Microsoft Azure. So, good relationship building there between those two. Private channels slated to launch in Microsoft Teams this fall. I've heard this requested quite often, actually. Let's see here. Confirmed it expects to enable private channels in Microsoft Teams sometime this fall, following years of intense customer demand for the feature. Such channels are visible only to the members within them. Yeah, right now, as it is, you build a team in Microsoft Teams, and then you can have all these channels inside of that team, right? Well, at the moment, all of those channels you'd build inside of a team are open to everyone that's in the team. You can't have private channels. For instance, you might have a team for HR, and then you may have channels for, I don't know, projects, potentially, right? A different channel for each project, or maybe you have a channel for, I don't know, however you're going to separate those areas of communication and collaboration, right? Well, at the moment, everyone in the team is going to be able to access all those potentially projects, right? And so now you're going to be able to privatize those, so that's pretty cool. They're one of a few features that I think are necessary for Teams adoption to really take off with our organization, says the Vice President of Enterprise and Research Infrastructure at Chapman University. They're currently switching from Skype for Business to Teams, which is pretty a common scenario at the moment. There are 22,000 votes or on, where is that, user voice, somewhere like that, for that feature. Microsoft reaffirmed its commitment to private channels in a keynote address at the Enterprise Connect conference in March, saying the feature would launch sometime in 2019. The company is currently testing private channels with a limited group of beta customers. They blame the delay on the technical difficulty of engineering private teams. They need to make private not only the chats, but also the files, which requires tinkering with the integration between Teams and Office 365 apps, such as the file storage service in SharePoint. We can only speculate as to why it's taking so long, blah, 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 blah. Microsoft needs to make this issue a priority. Yeah. Okay. Cool stuff. Private teams coming. Private channels, sorry. Microsoft adds Office 365 Group Lifetime Auto-Renewal feature. What? What you say? Microsoft says that a new user activity-based expiration policy can be enabled for Office 365 groups by select Azure AD Premium customers starting today. What the heck does all that mean? So Office 365 is part of Microsoft 365 software bundle, which also comes with Windows 10 and EMS, short for Enterprise Mobility and Security. A bundle which, in Microsoft's vision, provides customers with the easiest way of enjoying an easy-to-manage and secure online productivity platform. Okay. 365 groups are the main collaboration method for Microsoft 365 customers, making it possible for users to communicate with their teammates while using various Microsoft apps such as Outlook, Teams, Yammer, and SharePoint. All right, I'm following. So, New Office 365 group expiration policy in private preview. So the select Azure AD Premium customers will be able to enable the new 365 groups expiration policy starting today, allowing active groups to avoid being deleted automatically after the group lifetime is reached. As Office 365 Groups Program Manager explains, we're excited to announce the new version of expiration policy, which ensures any group being actively used continues to live on. This feature makes life easier for users, including admins, group owners, and members, by automating the expiration and renewal process by tracking groups for user activity across different apps. Okay. That's interesting. So it's activity-based expiration policy. It's going to allow organizations to improve their group's lifecycle management by keeping a balance between making sure that the useful groups where employees are actively sharing are not haphazardly removed. Oh, that's pretty neat. Right? That's pretty cool. If there's activity, hey, we're using it. Don't delete it. And then there's some more details on that. That's pretty cool. What else? Microsoft, Google, and Apple clouds banned in Germany's schools. I haven't heard about this. How about you guys? Germany just banned its schools from using cloud-based productivity suites from Microsoft, Google, and Apple. The tech giants aren't satisfying its privacy requirements with their cloud offering, it warned. Things changed. Microsoft pulled out the data trustee arrangement in Germany and started using its regular data center model instead, removing the barrier between the rest of the global Azure cloud and its own German data centers. So what was the issue here? Its conclusions during this review were dire. It doesn't have a problem with cloud access for schools in general. It said just with the data that Microsoft is storing and where. With the use of the Windows 10 operating system, they said a wealth of telemetry data is transmitted to Microsoft, whose content has not been fully clarified despite repeated inquiries to Microsoft. Such data is also transmitted when using Office 365. Gotcha. Okay, consent won't cut it, they said. Anyways, Microsoft's Chromium version of Edge browser is enterprise ready. That's what I'm viewing the newsletter in today. This is the Chromium-based Edge browser. At the Inspire conference in Vegas, the company announced some impressive improvements to my new favorite browser, the Chromium version of Edge. I've become a huge fan of the new Chromium version of Microsoft Edge browser, which is still in beta tests. He says, the reason is that I really miss the one browser does it all aspect of old Internet Explorer. For this new browser, I was actively switching between IE, Edge, Chrome, Firefox. So he says he's back to one browser. So fast, seamless updates. You get IE mode. I don't even know if I have that yet, do I? Not sure where that's at. Nope. I wonder if it's in the Canary build. I'm currently in the, what is this, the dev build, but I also have the Canary build, which is nightly builds. Let's just check real quick. Loading it up. I don't see any differences here in the menus. I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure how to enable that. But yeah, there's an IE mode, fast seamless updates. Obviously, it's kind of like Google Chrome, same engine, right? So you're going to get those updates rolled out quite quickly. Enhanced security. Edge browser always has had a security focus. Productivity enhancements, concepts such as single sign-on are flowing through this browser, and as you would expect, it supports Azure Active Directory for work and school accounts. Very nice. Privacy protection. Users get better control of their data and more transparency into the sites that they're visiting. Tracking prevention is huge. Wrapping up into the future, the new Microsoft Edge browser, the new Microsoft Edge browser based on Chromium is an impressive product that has clearly won me over. The latest set of improvements is focused on the enterprise user and seems to cover the gamut ranging from security and privacy. Interesting. True dat, man. I've been using it a lot. So far, so good. Only thing I have an issue with occasionally is when I'm in Dynamics 365 CRM. Some of those pages just take forever to load, and I don't have that actually happen to me in any other browser. Sometimes they don't ever load, they just spin. So I don't know, I'm not sure what that is, but around the blogosphere, let's get into that. Some of the blog posts, we're not going to go into all of them. I usually only stream for about half an hour on Fridays, but that would leave us 5 minutes. So let's just see where we get. SharePoint and Office 365, modernize and communicate from Rincor. The interdependence between information technology and business gets stronger and stronger as time passes. The modern business user must be considered when tailoring SharePoint and Office 365. SharePoint's evolving such that it becomes more business user friendly with each release. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What else? There was a published report in 2018 addressing communication barriers in the modern workplace. Out of 403 senior executives, managers, and senior executives from various U.S. companies, 44% of them said communication barriers are leading to a delay or failure to complete projects. 31% state low morale, 25% identify with missed performance goals, while 18% even claim lost sales. So that's how SharePoint is often customized. Business meets with development to discuss a solution to solve a business problem, but only a limited template is made available. And then business needs are restricted by limitations put in place by IT to extend SharePoint and Office 365. Yep, it's true. Christian Buckley, the man, says, where digital transformation is about fundamentally changing how you do business by leveraging technology, the modern workplace is about establishing a culture of change and innovation that allows you to quickly assess and incorporate the latest, greatest technology, which often begins with digital transformation. All right. An always modern, up-to-date environment that can be tailored as necessary to meet business needs. That's what he says. If he could create a SharePoint and Office 365 utopia, that's what it would be like. Anyways, good post there. So complete server product refresh is in process. Here's a post from Bamboo Solutions ourselves. This is from Rob, stating that we've been doing some pretty hardcore updates and rewrites and modernization of our own products. So a good post by Rob on a little bit of the detail around that. We have made some pretty fundamental changes to our product offering and our trial offering over the last couple of years, and so we're going to be reverting some of those. So we're going to be back to providing on-prem trials because just market demands it. We got our 2019 products, some of them still underway, just complete updates and rewrites across the board. So yep, we are too in that modernization realm. The power of transparent images in SharePoint Modern Experience. In case you're working with photos, so this is from Stefan Bauer, and it's obvious to have these pictures full size in your SharePoint. Sometimes it makes sense to handle images that should land, for example, on a communication site with a little bit more care, especially when you're dealing not with the photos but with illustrations. So what do we got here? Take, for example, the SharePoint PNP mascot, the friendly porcupine. Doesn't he look cute? Yep. So when you upload the image and place it on a page, in general, everything looks great. But let's make the page a bit fancier. Right? You add a section background there. Not so good. So now, still looks good, but you see the white background in the image. Yep, the image I uploaded here is a JPEG, which doesn't support, right? So you want to use PNG or SVG, which transparent background and has good portion transparent. Massive part of Parker is just transparent, but he has a white. Yeah, okay. So good talk here about how to. I guess it's really just kind of a graphic design best practice, and it's something that if you have been doing web design for any period of time, you're probably already aware of all this. So you might want to use PNGs, SVGs, even, how do you say it, GIF, even transparent GIFs. Are they ever going to make a transparent capable JPEG? I wonder. Is that even possible? I don't know. Let's see, the power, yep. What can you do with my site, SharePoint Online and Office 365? Pitt Information Technology provides Office 365, a powerful set of online tools. Okay. So they got a video here, store sync and work together on documents, use Office on any device, connect people, documents, and ideas, share and manage your videos. What is that, Microsoft Stream? Oh, no, that's it on my site. What types of data can be stored in SharePoint? So all inclusive here, it looks like a whole bunch of information on what you can do with my sites, SharePoint Online and Office 365. Check it out if you weren't aware. Create a hidden list in SharePoint Online. Let's see, what's the use case? So today at a user group meeting, one of the attendees had a nice idea to hide data in a list from the SharePoint interface. He created one list item with the title, "You should not be here." Then he made that item the only visible item in the default view. Then he made the list accessible through Power Apps. This was the process, the make it hard. Jeez, some broken grammar there. So it harder to access the data as a normal user. Administrators can look at the data if really needed with personal views, while permissions for normal users do not include updating of views. Okay, so he's got the hidden list there. There he goes. So he did some PowerShell here, used the PNP PowerShell command list.hidden, set it to true, updated it, submitted it back. So nice PowerShell feature there to hide a list. SharePoint Framework React Controls 1.14 released. Yep, and we'll go into that. Well, actually, let's see what some of the updates they added. Should have a change log here. Yep, German translations added, security trimmed control, added a wrapper class name property. List picker, add the ability to filter the control via OData, iframe dialog, closing dialog on commit, web part title, and support for section background color. Got some fixes in place too. Fix and return in the return type of on click and on double click events. List picker, fix for available drop down selection after selection was done. Fixes to French translations, rich text, issue on rendering the control in view mode. So there's a few of the highlighted changes in the latest release. How to convert an employee handbook to SharePoint library with metadata. All right, let's check it out. How you do that? SharePoint Maven, Greg. He says, let's face it, nobody reads employee handbooks. When I worked in a corporate world, that's why we keep ours short. Our employee handbook at Bamboo Solutions, it's getting bigger as time goes by. There are more things you got to call out. Just the way, the nature of the beast, right? But when he worked in the corporate world, the only time he referenced an employee handbook was when I needed to inquire about a vacation policy and wanted to know about the official holidays that the company observed, so I could plan my away from the company time. Most employee handbooks remind me of War and Peace novels in terms of its volume. True that, man. The approach to convert an employee handbook to SharePoint, let's see what he did. The idea behind the conversion is that instead of burying information into one big employee handbook or policy manual, you break it apart into multiple docs. For example, you might have an employee handbook with 200 pages and a table of contents. Such a document might have sections and paragraphs related to vacations, medical insurance, benefits, computer policy, you name it. The idea is that if you split those up into sections and separate the documents and files, then you load them all into a single document library with metadata. Yeah, it's going to be easier to find. It's going to be easier to get to what it is you're looking for. I've done this for other large documents, but this is a good idea for an employee handbook. This particular use case I've never approached, but makes sense. So create a separate document for each of the sections, decide on metadata, build your document library with metadata. He suggests that you use term store metadata, so that'll allow you to create subsections using the term store term hierarchy feature, as shown below. This will help users find relevant information for either the whole section or just a subsection. For section numbers, he suggests that you use the term store metadata. This will allow you to create subsection numbers. Such an approach will also allow users to filter documents by particular sections. Okay. Good post there. I like it. It's a good solution. Definitely applicable to more than just an employee handbook. So if you're in that maybe that front-end configuration world and you're trying to look at new ways to solve big document findability and usability solutions, then there you go. It's good application. Getting started with site designs at SharePoint Online. It's got a video here. Yeah, let's Come on, let me mute. So what do we got here? This looks like it's given by the PNP group. And they got a nice video tutorial here. I'm just gonna skip through it real quick on how to get started with site designs in SharePoint Online. Got some JSON config there. So it gets a little advanced. They're gonna go through some PowerShell here, it looks like too. Yep. Gonna set that up, so you're probably gonna need some rights and privileges to be able to do this. But looks like a nice run through and configuration of site designs. Figure that out. Learn how to leverage that. Tips for where to post news articles in SharePoint Online. This is a common customer question. How do readers see news articles? There are multiple ways your target reader can see the articles you post. On your site, on your SharePoint start page, in the mobile app, on a hub associated with your site, via a link to your article, via email. So where should I post my article to get the most visibility? On the main home site of the intranet or site designated as an official site for organizational news. On a major hub, on your site. So there's 3 options. Target your article to a specific audience to make sure it goes to only the right people. Coming soon. Audience targeting, cannot wait. Targeting is not security though. Keep that in mind. Cool, cool, cool. Simplify localization, in SharePoint Framework projects. Elio, when you need to support multiple languages for your SharePoint Framework solutions, it can be a hassle that you have to maintain each and every localization per component in their related folder. If you have one component in your project, this is easy to maintain, but once you will have a couple more, it becomes harder, and also it could be that keys will have to be duplicated over each and every component, its localization file. So a good technical walkthrough and post there if you're looking for some assistance in how to simplify localization. All right, last but not least, guys, running a little bit over today, but that's okay. SharePoint events in the areas. So here's what's coming up. We got building modern SharePoint applications using SharePoint Framework. You can click on that. It's a course given by Microsoft. It is online, July 23rd. So you're looking at what, next Monday? Is that right? 23rd? Tuesday. Get some of that. Then we got a bunch of SharePoint Saturdays coming up. You got one in New York City coming up. You got Omaha and Charlotte. You got Lima. You've got Central Europe, Barcelona, Stockholm, Pittsburgh, Helsinki, Los Angeles, and Richmond. A bunch of them coming up. So if you're in those areas, get plugged in, man. Those SharePoint Saturdays are rocking. You're going to get all kinds of great networking going on. You're going to hear current and modern ways to do things from MVPs themselves. It's an amazing opportunity. And it's free. I think most of them, everyone I've been to has been free, so I assume they're all free. Just go. Just jump in there. It is a full day on Saturday, but it is well worth it. You're going to go back to work on Monday, all recharged, and you're going to bring that enthusiasm and stuff to your team. It's amazing. I love it. I usually end up doing a recap presentation for our organization every time I come back from one, just to kind of give a lay of the land of what happened for those that couldn't attend. All right, what else we got going on here? Brock University, our journey to the cloud using SharePoint. What's this, August 15th? It's another Microsoft webinar, looks like, going on. So there's an opportunity to listen in. You got SharePoint Fest, August 19th through the 23rd in Seattle. And then you got SB TechCon coming up in Boston, August 25th through the 28th. We will be there. Rob actually will be there in Boston. So I say this every time. If you're looking for a discount code on your ticket price, let me know. I've got a code for you. Also, he'll be there, so go see us in the booth. Come shake a hand, say hey. We'd love to meet you. No doubt. All right, guys, that is it for the SharePoint Weekly Newsletter Roundup. I really appreciate y'all jumping on today. It is time for me to get back to work. I got things to do. How about y'all? How's your Friday looking? It is time, though. So thank you all for jumping on. If you're in our email trail and you're getting updates about what we've got going on, actually it'll actually be posted on our website on the. Let me go over there real quick. Did I type that wrong? Bamboo. There you go. Here on our website under support, there is a webinars and events page, and this will have next week's Panda Talk on there. So if you're interested in taking part and checking that out, come on. Oh, I didn't even share my screen. Hold on. Yeah, so come hang out, come talk, come listen in on the Panda Talk. It'll be listed here. I did go to the website, went to support, went to webinars and events. So come on, check it out. See me next week. All right, Ricky Ticky. I know it's super hot there, dude, but stay in the car, stay in the house, stay alive. I'll check y'all later. See y'all next week. I think the webinar is going to be on Thursday, so stay tuned. Peace out, everyone. Thanks for jumping on.